Hi everybody, my name is Grace Bell and I am the author of Grace Notes and the founder of Work with Grace. So this is really interesting. I had been asked for, I want to say at least 5 years, maybe more, by really many people, could you do a retreat? You'd be so fantastic at doing like a retreat about eating recovery, changing your thoughts and your beliefs about food and eating and body image. You'd be so awesome at that. Couldn't you do it? Couldn't you do it? And I've been kind of like, oh God, did a retreat on the body with another facilitator. And my hesitancy has been because I really went through such a horrible time and horrible experience with really disordered eating when I was in my late teens and early 20s. And I feel so over it. In fact, off and on, I would have a client or somebody that would come for help. I'm a mental health counselor, originally trained as that. And if they were really in the throes of a heavy eating disorder or very, very obsessed with nutrition and calories and what's the right food and kind of hyper alert and OCD about health food, then I would refer them to other people. And at some point I realized I want to incorporate and heal even that part that was myself that I know so well now and feel so much love for, and the sweetness I really have about food and eating now that feels like I was when I was 5 years old. It is just a non-issue, and it's been that way for years. So I probably am the right person. Somebody who went from total hell and violence to complete and easy peace now and the same weight for years. So I'm going to share with you today, based on this history and all that I've studied and the many people that I've worked with one-on-one, 3 key things that I felt like were, as I'm trying to wrap them and put them in words, some of the most important and powerful elements that can help you and any kind of obsessive thinking around food and eating and weight and all that, the whole world of all that, that's such a pain in the ass. Okay, so the first thing is understanding your own lack of power when you believe you are not powerful. And this can be in any area. When you feel a true and deep sense of powerlessness about an exchange, about what you're doing in your daily life, about what it's like with your spouse or partner or being alone and single, about trauma that you may have had in the past in your life. You may have even experienced it years ago when you were just a child. But if you still have something in you that believes in your own powerlessness, you may want to find power or build yourself or grab for energy in the form of food. And it's going to be overwhelming, even though your mind is telling you that you would prefer to stop eating, and you don't really want to do that. You don't really understand, and it kind of hurts, and you don't get this whole cycle. But if you feel powerless in some area that may have nothing to do with food, you're going to act it out by being powerless with food. So that's number 1. Number 2. Another very, very important area and place that people feel compelled to compulsively eat or emotionally eat, or what's going on inside the mind, is your relationship to emptiness. And I don't mean just emptiness and hunger, although that's an important part of all of it. I remember when I was so hungry and realizing for the first time, probably 10 years ago, how terrified I was of being hungry, even though I was an expert at starving myself. I was really so terrified at being extremely hungry. So that was physical hunger. But you may have a void or emptiness in other areas too, something you feel convinced that you are extremely hungry for. And there may be balanced life in the regular human psyche or the human life that where something just like the way we are pulled by a gravitational law to stay on the planet Earth, there may be other things that have a certain balance and a law that is beyond us around this emptiness and fullness and how you are with it. And if something's off in any of that area, if you're terrified of emptiness, even emotional emptiness, like perhaps you're single or someone left you or you've ended a relationship and you find yourself eating, it's a real strong point when people that people begin to feel like blowing their peace around food and filling themselves up by eating. So that's the second area. A third area that really drives compulsive and emotional eating is just simply fear. Fear, wow, what a powerful and amazing emotion. And if you don't have a good relationship with fear, if you are afraid of fear, then you can spend your whole life trying to make sure you're hiding from it. You're letting it chase you, and you run away. Get away from fear as quick as possible. Oh my God. And the low-level anxiety, like on a scale of 0 to 10, if you have only a 1 in anxiety, all the way up to a 10, with great trauma, even just remembering something or having something enormous happen that would make your whole physical body afraid. Often, what happens right after is the urge to eat. You go down to this real core basic place. You feel like eating. So look at powerlessness, look at emptiness, and look at fear. And what you think, what you're believing, what your mind is telling you about those 3 areas. And if you change them only a tiny little bit, tiny little degree, you'll be on the road towards mending that and healing it and coming out in some kind of balance with the love, who you really are. Everyone deserves to have balance with whatever this crazy thing is that's called eating. I mean, isn't it odd? We have these bodies and these minds and this mouth, and you have to take matter of some kind that's out here in the world and consume it. And that's how you get your energy. It's kind of amazing and strange. But everyone is hooked up like that, and you have a right to enjoy that and experience it being human, and not have anxiety, and not feel like you have to shove it in, and not feel like you're not going to get enough, and not feel like you are getting too much or you're desperate. You really do have the right to feel absolutely peaceful when it comes to eating and food, no matter what your size. All right, so I'm going to talk a little more next time about some other specific ways that you can address those 3 areas I just mentioned today. But look at those, find out what you're thinking, find out how you feel just in general about powerlessness, fear, and emptiness. And you can send me a comment down below. Just click over to my website and send me an email, grace@workwithgrace.com. Ask me a question. I'd love to hear from you about what your experiences are in those 3 departments. All right, until next time, take good care. Bye-bye.